Good evening and welcome to the Yadkin County portion of the Surrey-Davie-Yadkin Regional CTP Public Engagement Session. A couple of housekeeping items before we begin. This presentation and all associated materials will be available for a minimum of 30 days online. So if you're watching a recording of this meeting, please feel free to participate just as if you were watching it live. First, for those on the live presentation, please sign in using the chat bubble icon on the upper right hand corner of your screen. If at any point during the presentation you have any questions or comments, you may email them to me at cspradling@ptrc.org. Questions and comments may also be submitted through the GoToMeeting chat function. To answer some real-time polling questions about tonight's presentation, please visit the web address listed in bullet point D, which I will link shortly in the chat function for those of you that would like to participate that way. And if you're watching a recording of this presentation at home, you'll still be able to participate in the poll. For those of you on the actual call, again, I'll post it into the chat function. Copies of all the materials tonight may be found on the Northwest Piedmont Rural Planning Organization's webpage, listed in bullet point E. And presentations are pre-recorded. Questions and comments will be addressed at the end of the presentation. I'm going to stop sharing my screen for just a second to get that link for you so you can participate by clicking in the chat box. Tonight, we'll hear from Mr. Michael Abuya and Mr. Reuben Crummy, both of whom are transportation engineers with the Transportation Planning Division of the North Carolina Department of Transportation. My name is Carter Spradling, and I'm the director of the Northwest Piedmont Rural Planning Organization. Tonight, we'll start with a brief introduction from Mr. Abuya, giving us a introduction into what a CTP actually is, followed by a highway and public transit presentation. Afterwards, we'll hear from Mr. Reuben Crummy, who will give his presentation on bicycle and pedestrian portions of the CTP. After a brief pause again, the next voice you'll hear is from Mr. Michael Abuya.
Welcome to today's virtual public workshop. The workshop will focus on Yadkin County as part of Davie, Surrey, and Yadkin County's Regional Comprehensive Transportation Plan. We will start with a brief overview about what a CTP is, why a CTP is needed, where are we in the study process, and what are we going to do next after today's presentation. Then we will move into study analysis and results, touching on traffic, safety, and public survey results. Finally, we are going to present recommendations to identify needs within this study. The recommendations will focus on highway, transit and rail, bicycle, and pedestrian. A CTP stands for Comprehensive Transportation Plan, a long-range study that goes well into the future. It is multimodal because it covers various forms or various modes of transportation. It is data-driven, and it is derived from local plans. It takes into account community input and also is guided by statewide goals. It is locally driven by a steering committee, the membership of which includes community managers, commissioners, town managers, NCDOT personnel, and RPO planners. It is important to note that CTP recommendations are concepts, and any improvement will go through a rigorous environmental process before final alignment or designs can be determined. A CTP is required by state laws, General Statute 136-66.2. A CTP determines alternatives to address transportation needs within the study area. A CTP is the first step in developing a transportation project. It is a common long-range vision for facilities between NCDOT, MPOs, RPOs, and local governments. It provides better integration of land use with transportation planning. We started this process by developing a vision for the CTP study. Then we assessed the existing system. Then we analyzed different alternative solutions to identified needs. And today we are presenting those needs and recommendations to you. After completing these workshops, we will develop the final plan, seek mutual agreement on the draft, complete it, then follow that by adoptions, starting locally by the municipalities, followed by county commissioners, then an endorsement by the RPO. Then finally, NCDOT Board of Transportation will adopt the final plan. The regional CTP is for these three counties, Davie, Surry, and Yadkin. We are conducting 3 virtual workshops. The one for Davie was completed on July 28. The one for Surry was completed on July 29. And today we are conducting that for Yadkin County. Existing traffic analysis. Traffic data ranging from 2002 to 2017 were collected, analyzed, and then base year daily traffic volumes were determined. Those volumes were then compared to daily roadway carrying capacity. Then we determined whether roadway segment is having a congestion or capacity deficiencies. This legend at the bottom left corner will help us understand this map. On top, 2017 volumes are shown. At the bottom, capacity numbers are shown. Now, if the ratio is 79% and below, then a roadway segment ratio is between 80% to 99%, as indicated by a blue line. Then the roadway is approaching capacity. If that ratio is 100%, then it is considered to be overcapacity. US 21 business from NC 67 to Surry County in Jonesville town showed capacity. The rest of roadways within the county appeared not to experience congestion issues in the base year of 2017. 2017 daily traffic volumes were projected to 2045 using a trendline analysis. The numbers were then compared to the capacity of the roadway segment to determine congestion or capacity deficiencies expected in future. In Yadkinville, US 601 from Walnut Street to US 421 and from Lee to Main Street will be approaching capacity by 2045. Interstate 77 business to Surry County US 21 business from NC 67 to Surrey County, and NC 67 from I-77 to the roundabout or PHV Quality Way will be approaching capacity by 2045. As for existing traffic safety, a 4-year period crash records ranging between 2012 and 2016 were collected and analyzed. The symbology at the bottom right corner indicates by size and number the frequency of crashes in a given location. Locations of 20 crashes or more are I-77 corridor and US 601 corridor. The community had a chance to participate in this study through a public survey. The survey was taken online using Metro. Traffic safety concerns were noted along I-77 corridor near NC 67 interchange, US 601 corridor, and US 421 corridor. The community noted traffic problems along 601 corridor in Yadkinville, as well as Boonville, and also along I-77 corridor. Transit needs within the county were also noted. The dots were dropped in the map at East Bend, near Boonville, and majority of them were from Yadkinville. Sample comments. Service, either on demand or regularly scheduled, is needed. Broader service areas needed for all populations. Recommendations. Key priorities that guide these recommendations are enhancing safety, resolving deficiencies, minimizing congestion, and increasing mobility. The legend at the bottom right corner explains the symbology within this map. The red lines correspond to recommendations regarding congestion or mobility issues. The light blue lines are modernizations. In Yadkinville, US 601 from Walnut Street to US 421 and from Lee Avenue to Main Street is a 3-lane major thoroughfare and is projected to be near capacity by 2045. Recommendation: improve access management or widen to 4 or 5 lanes. The section of 601 between 421 and Lee Avenue is currently 4 lanes with no capacity issues and is projected to be under capacity by 2045. But there are TIP projects U5809 and R5894. These 2 projects are to construct a median and roundabouts to help with the mobility issues and safety issues through the area. In Jonesville area, Interstate 77 from US 21 business to Surrey County is projected to be near capacity by 2045. Recommendation: widen to 3 lanes in each direction. NC 77 US 21, as you cross over into Yadkin from Jonesville, will be approaching capacity by 2045. Improvement of access management is recommended for this corridor. Similarly, a section of NC 67 east of Interstate 77 will be approaching capacity by 2045. Recommendation: improve access management. The rest of the recommendations are modernizations. These are represented by the light blue lines. Modernizations may include widening a segment of a roadway that is 11 foot to 12 foot lane, and also adding paved shoulders for safety and mobility. Facility types map. This is now the projection of the entire highway system. In this map, facilities are classified by types. The map sets control of access vision for all future corridors. It also helps make better land use decisions along state-maintained roads. This symbology at the bottom right corner explains each class of facility, starting from freeway to minor thoroughfare. Public transit recommendations are the following. Bus routes are recommended for US 421 corridor, I-77 corridor, and NC-67 corridor. Park and ride lots are also recommended at Yadkinville, Boonville, East End, and also near the interchange between 421 and I-77. And that concludes this segment of the presentation as presented by Michael Abuya. The next presentation on bike and ped will be by Ruben Crummy. Thank you.
Okay, good. So again, we're going to hold all questions till the end of both presentations. After a short pause here, we'll start Mr. Crummy's presentation.
Hi, I am Ruben Crummy with the North Carolina Department of Transportation's Transportation Planning Division. We will continue onward with the draft bicycle and pedestrian element of the Yadkin County portion of the Davie, Surry, and Yadkin Regional CTP. The featured topics in this presentation will be a brief overview of bike and ped plans, the draft bike and ped CTPs, the project lists, additional projects, and then questions and/or comments. Introduction and overview. The North Carolina Department of Transportation provides an annual program called the Bicycle and Pedestrian Planning Grant Initiative, which allocates funding for municipalities across the state that apply for the grant and are selected in developing the requested comprehensive bicycle plans, pedestrian plans, or both plans. All North Carolina municipalities are eligible to apply. This program is sponsored by the department's Integrated Mobility Division, formerly the Division of Bicycle and Pedestrian Transportation, and the Transportation Planning Division, also known as TPD. Since 2004, approximately $6.5 million has been awarded through this program to 211 municipalities and 6 counties across the state. Recommendations. Full map of the regional CTP. There are 2 state bike routes that go through the planning area. NC bike route number 2, called Mountains to the Sea, traveling through Surry County, and NC bike route number 4, called North Line Trace, which travels through Yadkin and Davie counties. In the legend, you will see that the blue lines represent the adopted CTP designations. The light green represents both the adopted CTP and the draft Yadkin Valley Regional Bicycle Plan. The orange lines represent the draft Yadkin Valley Regional Bicycle Plan, and the darker green represents the multi-use path designation. Here is a better showing of bike route number 2, which starts in the mountain town of Murphy, traveling through the small towns of Footville and Courtney, which are in the planning area, which is also in Yadkin County, and finishes in the coastal town of Montiel, and is over 700 miles long. As you can see, NC bike route number 4 starts in Piney Creek, traveling through Pilot Mountain, Ararat, Blackwater, Dobson, which are towns in Surrey County, and Salem, York, and finishes in the McKay Island National Wildlife Refuge, and it is about 400 miles long. Today, we will be featuring the existing and proposed bicycle recommendations for Yadkin County. These proposals are referenced from the 2014 Yadkin County CTP and the draft Yadkin Valley Regional Bicycle Plan. In the town of Yadkinville, the draft Yadkin Valley Regional Bicycle Plan is referenced within and out of the town limits. In the town of Jonesville, the 2014 Yadkin County CTP and the 2012 Elkin Jonesville CTP references the displayed recommendations. The proposed Yadkin County bicycle projects support a very large portion of comments from the regional CTP survey. Comments and responses will be made available on the website. During the development of the current CTP, the following facilities were identified as recommended bicycle routes and will need improvement. In accordance with the American Association of State Highway and Transportation Officials, also known as AASHTO, the acronym AASHTO, roadways identified as bicycle routes shall incorporate the following standards as roadway improvements are made and funding is available. Curb and gutter sections require at minimum 5-foot bike lanes or 14-foot wide shoulder lanes. Shoulder sections require a minimum of 5-foot paved shoulder. All bridges along the roadways where bike facilities are recommended shall be equipped with 54-inch railings, at a minimum 42-inch. Continued proposed bicycle projects. In the full map of the regional CTP, there are 2 designations shown in the legend. The blue lines represent the current adopted CTP designations. The green lines represent the multi-use path designations. The thicker lines represent the proposed projects, and the thin lines represent existing sidewalks and multi-use paths. In Yadkin County, there are 4 featured municipalities: Yadkinville, Jonesville, Boonville, and East Bend. The town of Jonesville references the 2014 Yadkin County CTP and the 2012 Elkin and Jonesville CTP. The town of Yadkinville references the 2012 Yadkinville CTP. The towns of Boone and East Bend references the 2014 Yadkin County CTP. The proposed Yadkin County pedestrian projects support a very large portion of comments from the regional CTP survey. Comments and responses will be made available on the website. Here we have listed the proposed pedestrian projects from the adopted local pedestrian plans. A bicycle project is being proposed along Liberty Church Road from Snow Road to Lane Hickory Road. Although the bicycle and pedestrian maps for CTP were previously separate, it was decided that the 2 modes of transportation are to be combined under one map, showing the relationship between them. They were intentionally separated so that during the CTP process, viewers can see the differences between the bicycle and pedestrian recommendations, and the difference between the current CTP and the draft Yadkin Valley Regional Bike Plan, as well as where the recommendations are the same to eliminate confusion. Once the final plan has been approved, there will be just one map. Please see the provided contact information. Thank Thank you for your participation. We are now open for questions and comments.
At this time, we don't have any questions or comments through the chat function or through email. If anyone would like to ask questions, you can unmute yourself and ask if you'd like. And I will check to see if we have any questions through our online polling software. Okay, so Rusty Chrisman wants the contact numbers back on the screen. You read my mind, Rusty. That's what I was just about to do. Hold on one second for me, bud. So there we go. If you need to contact anyone, I'm your man. I'm Carter Spradling with the Northwest Piedmont Rural Planning Organization. My email address is there, cspradling@ptrc.org. And of course, anyone watching this as a recording, you are more than welcome to email me any questions or comments at that website. At that web address. And also you can access all of the online polling data and presentations at the website listed on the page. Okay. If there are no further questions, this concludes the Yadkin County portion of our regional CTP public engagement. Oh, we have one more question. Yes, sir. Mr. Chrisman, you can access the recording of this meeting at the website given here, www.ptrc.org, with the rest of it out here. Probably the easiest way to access that, if you haven't written this down, would just be to do a Google search for Northwest Piedmont RPO. Northwest Piedmont RPO. Our webpage will come up. It'll you'll be able to see the links to everything right there. And yes, sir, I will email that to you, so you don't have to Google it. So that'll conclude our Yadkin County session, and we'll conclude all three of the Daviess, Surry, and Yadkin County presentations. All information will be up on the Northwest Piedmont RPO site through at least August 30th. I look forward to hearing from you, and thank you everyone for your participation.
Thank you, Mr. Carter. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Carter.
Thanks, guys.